Welcome to Halachot of Niddah. This will be part 8 of the class. Today we want to discuss when a husband and wife are having relations, or when the wife, she uses the restroom and at that time she sees blood. Are we going to say that she is impure from the Torah, or are we going to say that she is impure from the rabbis? Now, before we do begin today's halakha, I want to give a small introduction in order for us to better understand today what Rav David Yosef Shlita has to say. There is a halakha in the Shulchan Aruch which says, if a woman sees dam machmat tashmish, that is the expression, dam machmat tashmish. If a woman saw blood because of having relations, meaning like this. Let's say you have the Khatan and the Kala the first night of their wedding. Let's say they sleep with each other. He goes ahead, he has relations with her. That time, when he breaks her virginity, they have blood coming out. That's the only time we're going to actually allow him to finish, because we don't know if that's real blood or that's virgin blood. So that's the only time we're going to allow him to finish. However, after he pulls out, he has to now go ahead and they have to do the regular cycle. They have to wait 4 days or 5 days, as we'll see. And then they have to count 7 clean days, and only afterwards can she go to the mikveh, and then he's allowed to be back with her. Now, after the Khatan and the Kala, they had relations, and they waited, let's say, 12 days of impurity, and then she went to the mikveh after the 12 days. This is going to be the first time that we're going to start counting dam machmat tashmish. Now listen carefully. Dam machmat tashmish, a lot of us probably never even heard this in our lives. I speak for myself. I did not know this halakha when I got married. I only found out about this halakha only when I started learning halachot inside myself. A lot of rabbis will not tell you this halakha. I don't know why. A lot of us didn't know this halakha, and a lot of Khatan and Kala that do get married today, they also don't know this halakha. But this halakha is very important. After when the guy, the Khatan and the Kala, after their first night, they wait 12 days, then she goes to the mikvah. From that initial, meaning now let's look at this, the second time around when he's going to be with her. That's when we're going to start counting dam machmat tashmish. What does dam machmat tashmish mean? What does dam machmat tashmish means? Blood because of relations. Sometimes you could have a woman who is very sensitive down there. So anything that's going to go inside, anything that's going to penetrate is going to make her bleed. That's a problem. We can't take chances. It might be uterus blood. It might be blood coming from the makor, and that means she's tummy. Sometimes she's perfectly fine. The problem is, it's the guy. Maybe he's too rough with her. So now he could make her bleed. So let's make it like this. Let me see something. I want you guys to be able to understand this. Let's do this. Just want you guys to have this in your mind, okay? Let's go like this. First time that they have relations, we're going to say that this is where he breaks, her virginity. That he breaks her virginity, and now this, we're going to call this her virgin blood. We're going to call this, excuse me. The first time when the guy is with her, we're going to call it that he breaks her virginity, and that's called the virgin blood. So therefore, we're not going to tell him that this is dam machmat tashmish. Now something, let me write this over here. We're not going to say it's dam machmat tashmish. which literally means she sees blood because of having relations with her husband. Okay? Rabotai, learn the terminologies. It's very important. So damach matashmish means she sees blood because of having a relation with her husband. First time around, excuse me. First time around, we're not going to apply this rule of damach matashmish. We're not going to apply it. Why? Because we're going to say it is her virgin blood. That's why we cannot apply this rule of damach matashmish. Because we're going to tell you this is virgin blood. Now, after 12 days, now there again, Rabotai, it could be also 11 days. At times it could be even 10 days. I don't want to get into these halachot right now. I'm just giving an average. After 12 days of keeping the laws, after 12 days of keeping the laws of staying away from each other, then she goes to the mikvah. Now we're going to call this the second time around. Here we go, Rabotai. This is where the second time around is where we're going to start applying the concept of damach matashmish. What does this mean, Rabotai? What does this mean? Okay. Watch this. We're going to start applying this rule, damach matashmish, right now on the second time around. Now, why is that so? Here we go. Second time around, when he has relations with her, the second time around, when he has relations with her, there's something she has to do. Immediately after she has relations with the husband, she has to wipe herself. She has to make sure she's not bleeding. There's two things she's gonna come on the napkin or on the cloth that she's gonna wipe herself with. Either it's gonna be the semen from the husband, or chas v'shalom, she'll be able to also see she's gonna also see chas v'shalom blood. Now the reason we want her to do it immediately is because we want to see if he caused the bleeding to come. Now Rabotai, listen to this very carefully. This is how it's going to work. The second time around, she has to check herself, not him, she has to check herself before being with him. She shouldn't do it in front of him because he's going to get worried. She has to check herself before being with him because we want to make sure that she's not bleeding already. After she checks herself the first time, then he has relations with her. Now, she has to check herself after being with him. Now she has to check herself, and also he has to wipe himself. He has to make sure that on his private part, on the head part, where the guy gets the brit milah, he has to make sure that there's no blood there, because he's able to penetrate to the closer part of the cervix. So Rabotai, this is very important too. Now why is this important? Because we have to do this 3 times. So watch this. Second time she has, let's do this. Let's do this one more time. First time when he slept with her, we're not gonna apply the rule of damach matashmish. We're not gonna use that rule. It starts at the second time around. Second time around, she has to check herself before being with him. Then he has relations with her. She has to check herself after being with him. And he has to check himself. Must. Now, that's the second time around. Now they have to see, did she see blood or not? And this, Rabotai, is going to continue to the third time and the fourth time. So we have like this, Rabotai. Because listen to this very carefully. If she starts seeing blood over here and the second time when she checked herself, then she's going to see the same thing. Is going to go through the same thing. She has to do the bidika before, and then she has to do it after, and then he also has to check himself. Same thing by the third case. Same thing by the fourth time around. In these three scenarios, if she's going to see blood in each one of them, we're going to have a very big problem. She might not be permissible to her husband again. There's ways to go about it. There's things that she can heal herself, but I'm not going to get into this halakha right now. I just want to show you the reason why I brought all this up over here. We have Dam Ahmed Tashmish because Rav David Yosef is going to go ahead and explain to us a halakha right now. And in order to be able to understand that halakha, you would have to have background knowledge to what I just said. So let's go back over here. Here we go. Din tum'at isha shira'at ketem. When we speak about the law of a woman being tameh, when she saw a stain, shehi temeh midrabanan, that we stated that she's only going to be tameh from the rabbis. Now, why is this important to know? If you guys remember, we had 4 cases, 2 from the Torah, 2 from the rabbis. 2 from the Torah were where a woman felt that her uterus opened up. Let's do this. Here, yellow highlighted line. If she felt that her uterus opened up, and her blood came out from her, this is, she's tameh from the Torah. Orange highlight. She felt shivering in her body, and afterwards she found blood. She's tameh from the Torah. Those are 2 from the Torah. She felt something liquidy coming down her body. And afterwards she found blood. She's impure from the rabbis. This is the first case where she's impure from the rabbis. Matzaketem al basara or al bigda. What happens if she found a stain on her flesh or on her clothing? She didn't feel any, she didn't have any sensation, she didn't have any feeling that it even came out of her. So what do we see over here? When Rav David Yosef Shlita is telling us over here that din tumat isha shirata ketem, this whole din, this whole law of when a woman becomes tama from seeing a stain, which is the last 2 cases we spoke about, shehi temeh midrabanan, we're going to say she's only impure from the rabbis. That means that if a woman felt a liquidy thing coming down her body, meaning from the uterus, she feels something coming out, but she doesn't have the opening of the uterus, she doesn't feel shivering, she only feels something liquidy coming down, and then when she sees it on her flesh or she sees it on the clothing, if it's the size of 20 millimeters or 2 centimeters like we saw the pictures yesterday, then we're going to tell you she is tameh from the rabbis. Because remember, if the stain is less than 20 millimeters, she's not tameh at all. Now, why is this important to know? Listen to what he says now. So one more time. Din tumat isha shir'at ketem. The laws of a woman who becomes tameh because she saw a stain, where we're going to tell you she temeh midrabanan, that she becomes tameh from the rabbis. Listen to this language. Hu afilu, it's even imra'ata haketem miyad achar shishimsha im ba'ala. We're going to tell you she's tameh from the rabbis even if she saw the stain immediately after having relations with her husband. V'nimta haketem ala sadin, and she found the stain on a bed sheet, or al basara, or she found it on her flesh, we're going to tell you that this is a rabbinical tumah. She's only tameh from the rabbis. Remember, it has to be 20 millimeters or 2 centimeters to make her tameh. Otherwise, she's not tameh. Comes Rav David Yosef, and he says, "Ve'en lachu shema yatsa memeno hadam b'shat tashmish." Do not be concerned, do not be afraid maybe that this blood came out while they were having tashmish. V'hirgisha, and she had a sensation. Usvura hayta shehargasha tashmishi, but she thought it's not her sensation. It's not. She thought it's guys. I gotta put it to you in English. 1 second. Hebrew to English, not Pasha, Rabotai. Let me make sense of this. Okay, now let's do like this. Let me make it a little bit more. Let me make it a little bit more real so we guys can understand. Just one second. Just want to formulate a case. ואין לך שם יצא ממנו הדם בשעת תשמש והרגישה, וסבורה הייתה שהרגשת תשמשי. That you don't have to be afraid of. Now, Rabotai, let's put it like this. When a woman and a man have relations, I could tell you 2 things. I can tell you that this blood, maybe at the time when it was coming out, maybe she really felt a sensation. Maybe she really felt the uterus opening up. But she thought, you know what it was? She thought it was the husband actually basically being intimate with her. She thought, okay, I don't know how to say it. Again, I have to just say it. I don't know how to say it. At the time when the husband is penetrating her, you might have thought maybe that moment that's when her uterus was opening up. So if at that time when her uterus is opening up, she will be coming from the Torah, not from the rabbis. Comes Rav David Yosef, he says, no. Don't think that it's the sensation from the Torah. No. And she's going to go ahead and she's going to think now that this is only the husband penetrating. This is the husband that's giving her that feeling. He says, no, don't say that. Don't make it a Torah level impurity. Keep it on a rabbinical level impurity. I hope it's clear, Rabotai. I hope you guys are getting it because... Let me try it one more time. Here. If a woman is having relations, and after relations she finds blood on her bedsheet. Now, Rabotai, this is where you're going to have the problem of dam machmet tashmish. This is what we spoke about before. Having relations because of blood. Now we have to understand, is that from the Torah or is that from the rabbis? Now the problem over here is, at the time when the blood was coming out, I'm going to have to ask her, for example, let's say, did you feel your uterus opening up? Can you say that maybe she was really feeling the uterus open up? So maybe she should be impure from the Torah perspective, not from a rabbinical perspective. And she's thinking, you know why it shouldn't have been her uterus opening up? Because it's the husband that was penetrating. Maybe you could say that. She really had a sensation, but she's thinking it's her husband that's penetrating her. Meaning, again, I don't know how to say it. I honestly don't know how to say it. I mean, this is being recorded. I gotta just be careful. But when a guy and a girl, when a husband and a wife are together and he's going in her, every time he's going in her, maybe we're going to say that she thinks it's the guy's, you know something, I can't, I got to do it. She's going to think maybe that this is what she's feeling, that like this that's coming in contact with her cervix, she's going to feel maybe it's the husband doing, and it's not her uterus opening up. So therefore, maybe really she should be tameh from the Torah. Rav David says, don't say that. Don't do that. Do not do that. Do not go through all these calculations right now. Don't do that. She's tameh from the rabbis. Okay, I'm gonna do it one more time. As we do the review, it's gonna be a little bit easier, but I gotta do it one more time. All right, let's do this one more time slowly. Din tumat isha shir'at ketem. The law of a woman becoming tameh when she sees a stain. Shehi temeh midrabban, where we're gonna tell you that this seeing a stain where it's gonna be only tameh from the rabbis. What's gonna make her tameh from the rabbis? Remember, Rabotai, where she had no sensation, she didn't feel her uterus opening up, she did not feel no shivering. She either saw blood on her flesh or on a sheet, or either she felt something liquidy. That's going to be from the rabbis. So he says, the laws of tomb of a woman who saw a stain, where we're going to tell you that that is going to make her tummy from the rabbis, that novelty is, hu afilu, that's even very big chiddush, even if she had the relation, even if she saw the stain immediately after she had relations with her husband. So one more time. Even if she saw the stain miyad immediately after she had relations with her husband. She saw that stain. Let's say the husband pulls out, he goes and she sees and she pays attention that right immediately she sees a stain on her bed stain, on her bed sheet, or on her body. That happened immediately after her husband pulled out. And it comes out that the stain was on the sheet or on the flesh. We're going to tell you in this situation, she is tameh only from the rabbis. Very big chiddush. What's the chiddush? So he tells you, ve'en lachush, do not be concerned. Shema yatsa mimena hadam b'shat tashmish. Do not be concerned. Maybe the blood came out of her at the time during the relations. Don't do that. V'hirgisha usvura hayta she'hargasha tashmishi. Don't say this, that maybe the blood came out during the relations and she had a hargasha, she felt a sensation of the uterus opening up, but she thought it was her husband that was penetrating her. So really she was not able to really feel that sensation. Rav David Yosef Shlita says, don't say that. Don't say that, because you're going to go like this, Rabotai, then you're going to make a very big problem now. So one more time, Rabotai, let's do this one more time. Wow. So here we go. Din tumat isha shir'at ketem. When it comes to the law of a woman becoming tameh when she sees a stain, where, as we explained, where she has no sensation, we're going to tell you she tameh midrabban, because when it comes to stains, she's only tameh from the rabbis. We're going to tell you that she's even tameh from the rabbis. That's even hu afilu. That's even imra'ata haketem, if she saw the stain miyad acher shimsha im ba'ala. She saw the stain immediately after she had relations with her husband. V'nimtza haketem ala sadinu ala ba'al abasara. And she found the stain on a white bedsheet or on her flesh. We're going to tell you still that she's only tameh from the rabbis. Comes Rav David Yosef and he says, don't say all this right here. 1 second. Comes Rav David Yosef and he says, don't say all this. Ve'en lachush, and do not be concerned. Shema yatsa mimeno adam b'shat tashmish, and don't be concerned maybe that this blood came out of her during having relations with the husband. V'hirgish, and she had a sensation. Usavura hayta shargasha tashmish, and she thought it was her husband penetrating her. So therefore she was not really able to feel the hargasha, but really it was a sensation. So therefore she should be tameh from the Torah. Rav David Yosef Shlita says, don't say that. Bottom line, Rabotai, we're going to tell you over here like this. If a woman had relations with her husband, and immediately right after having relations with her husband, she saw blood on her bedsheet, or she saw blood on her thighs, If it's the size of 20 millimeters or more, or 2 centimeters or more, we're going to tell you she is impure from the rabbis. Now you might tell me, Rabbi, 1 second, maybe this blood came out during them having relations, and at that time she really had a sensation, she had an opening of the uterus, but the reason why she couldn't feel it was because at that time the husband was penetrating her, so she wasn't really able to feel that body feeling. Nevertheless, we're going to tell you, don't say that. Don't make her a Torah level, don't make her a Torah level, don't make her a Torah level tameh. Don't make her impure on the Torah level. Keep her on the rabbinical level. You may ask me, Rabbi, what's the difference? Again, remember, because if that ketem, now here, this is what I want to speak about. You know, I don't know if a quarter is 20 millimeters or 2 centimeters. I did not do my research. You know, let me see something. I have a ruler. 1 second. Let me try to see if I could. Let me get this. Oh, this is perfect. Oh, this is nice. Here we go. Oh, this is very nice. Oh, I'm very happy. 1 second. I want to see something. I'm just measuring with the ruler and the quarter. Just 1 second. A quarter, wow, a quarter is way more than 2 centimeters. Take that back. Let's take the quarter back. Trying a nickel. Let's try a nickel. Let's see how it's going to go. Oh, Rabbi Sai. Wow. Let me just try 10 cents. A nickel is actually 2 centimeters. 10 cents is under 2 centimeters. And I'll tell you why we have to know this, Rabbi Sai. Rabbi Sai, isn't Torah beautiful? Torah is unbelievable. Okay. That song is so beautiful. Okay, watch this, Rabbi here. See if you guys can see it. So basically, I have a ruler right over here. As you guys can see, 2 centimeters. So I'm going to put the 5 cents right over here. Look at that, Rabbi. So look at that. Wait. Perfect. Look at that. Let me see if you guys can see it. Yeah, you guys see it right there? 1, 2, right between 1 and 2. That means, I am so happy with this just now. That means a nickel size. If a woman sees a stain of a nickel, then she becomes tameh on a rabbinical level. Now, Rabotai, listen to this very carefully. Why is this important to know? Why is that important to know? Here we go. If I'm going to say that it came out after her having relations with her husband, and it is the size of 5 cents, she's tameh from the rabbis. But, wait, let me rephrase it. If a woman had relations with her husband and she saw a stain on her body or on the white bed sheet, and it was the size of a nickel, which is 2 centimeters, we're going to tell you she's tameh from the rabbis. But what happens if she saw the size of a dime or even a penny? We're going to tell you she's not tameh at all. So she saw blood. The blood came out after relations. She saw a stain. Came out after relations. She paid attention. It's on her bed sheet. If it's the size of a dime, we're going to tell you she's not impure. You're allowed to be with her. Rabotai, listen to this very carefully. Now, why is this important to know if it's from the rabbis or from the Torah? Because if we were going to say this logic, let's say like this. Don't read the word ve'en lachush. Leave these words out for a second. Let me do this. Here. Here. Don't read the word ve'en lachush for a second. I want to say like this. If I'm going to go and I'm going to begin like this. Maybe the blood came out from her during relations and she had a sensation. And she thought it was her husband penetrating her. Now, if I'm going to say this, then it's a hargasha. If it's a sensation, meaning she really had a sensation, she might have had a sensation of her uterus opening up, Or she might have had that sensation of her trying to feel that sensation of shivering, but she would have thought it was not really the uterus opening up, or it was not really her shaking, because it was her husband doing it to her. So maybe you're going to tell me, let's take that sensation away and say it was really the husband doing it. So it's not from the Torah. No, we're going to tell you it's from the Torah. Now, why is that important to know? If I'm going to use that logic, that I'm going to tell you that it was her sensation and it was not the husband penetrating, then it comes out that even if she had blood on the bed sheet or even on a collared garment or anything else, Rabotai, less than 5 cents, let's say even like 10 cents, even a pen mark, she becomes impure from the Torah. So let's see if you guys are getting this. This is why Rav David Yosef Shlita is telling us, don't be afraid that this blood came out during relations and she had a sensation. Because if I'm going to say that, I'm going to have a big problem. What's going to be the problem? That if it's less than 2 centimeters, like a dime, then she's tummy. Then you cannot be with her again. That's why it comes Rav David Yosef and he tells you, no, if a woman saw blood after having relations, immediately after having relations, she paid attention, she has blood on her thigh or on her bed sheet, whatever it's going to be, it has to be white. If she saw it and it's 2 centimeters, that's when she's going to become tummy. But if she saw less than 2 centimeters, we're going to tell you she is still tahor, she is still 100% pure, she's allowed to be with her husband. But, Rabotai, if I'm going to use the logic, maybe she really had the sensation. She had the hargasha from the Torah. But what? She thought it was maybe her husband. We're not going to allow her to say it's her husband. We're going to say it's the sensation and it's going to be from the Torah. Then the problem would have been then if she sees even the most minute blood, even on a colored garment, she becomes tummy. So this is why it's very important to know these halachot, Rabotai. When a woman has relations with her husband and she sees blood immediately afterwards, they have to make a calculation. They have to look. Is it the size of a nickel? If that stain is the size of the nickel, she is impure. If that stain is the size of a dime or less, she is tahor. And don't say, Rabbi, maybe she really had a sensation where it's going to make her tummy from the Torah. So maybe even with a minute blood on the collar garment should have made her tummy. Rav David Yosef Shlita says, don't say that. Wow. Okay, Rabbi, so let's get to work. Okay. Now, Rabotai, knowing this, because if this, then we're going to see Be'ezrat Hashem B'li Neder, when we're going to start learning halachot of Damach Matashmish, how fast does she have to do it? How fast does she have to check herself? By us, by Sephardim, by Ashkenazim, they even have a little bit longer time to wait. By Sephardim, it has to be immediately. She has to have the cloth ready. Right after relation, she has to check herself to make sure she doesn't see. And then the guy also has to check himself to make sure that they don't see blood. All right. Now, continues Rav David, and he says, and similar to this, Im asta tzarchecha. Rabotai, same halacha, now it's just going back. If a woman went ahead and she used the restroom, and immediately afterwards, she found a stain on her flesh or on her clothing. We're going to tell you she's tameh from a rabbinical standpoint because we're dealing with stains. It's not that she's having a flow, it's just a stain. Continues Rav David Yosef, and he says, Ve'en lachush, do not be concerned. Maybe this blood really came out of her at the time when she was taking care of her needs. And she had a sensation. Maybe the uterus opening up, maybe of her shivering, but she thought otherwise. She thought it was actually the sensation of her going to the bathroom. So maybe you're going to go ahead and you're going to tell me that she should be tameh from the Torah. Comes Rav David Yosef, he says, don't say all this. Don't tell me this. No. Same rule, Rabotai, same concept. If a woman went ahead and to use the restroom, and after using the restroom, she finds a stain on her white underwears, or she finds a stain on her body. What are we gonna define her to be Tameh from the rabbis or Tameh from the Torah? It's very important, Rabotai. If the stain is 5 cents, we're gonna tell you she's Tameh from the rabbis. If the stain is 10 cents, we're gonna tell you she's not Tameh at all. But don't say that maybe at the time when she was taking care of her needs, maybe her uterus opened up, but the reason why she wasn't able to feel because she thought it was the number 1 or number 2 coming out. So maybe really make her Tameh even when she sees 10 cents, meaning when she sees this small of a stain, and even if it's on a colored garment, then go ahead and make her Tameh. Comes Rav David Yosef today, says, don't say all this. So bottom line, Rabotai, same halacha what we said regarding to relations, we're going to tell you regarding when a woman takes care of her bowels. Now, one more time, Rabotai. If a woman went to the bathroom and she found a stain on her flesh, or if she found a stain on a white garment, we're going to tell you in order for her to be Tameh, it has to be a nickel size. However, do not say, I repeat, do not say that maybe during the time when she was using the bowels, she had the sensation, which is from the Torah. So maybe when it's even lower than a nickel, the stain, we should still make her Tameh from the Torah. Rav David Yosef says, we're not afraid of that. Okay. Rabotai, I hope you guys are getting it. If not, I hope you guys are getting it. I don't know. I don't know if I could make it any simpler. I know that this is a one-way teaching, we're learning one way, but I don't know if I could make it any simpler because it's like you have to be able to break it down. That's why I like it when it's written down. Let's do it in English review. It'll become easier. The rule of a stain of blood, which is called a ketem, that a woman sees is that she becomes impure by rabbinic law, not from Torah, only from the rabbis. Again, all we're saying right now is this whole rule of a woman when she sees a stain, meaning when she sees a nickel size stain of blood on her body or on her white clothing, we're going to tell you she's only impure from a rabbinic standpoint and not from a Torah standpoint. What is the difference, rabbinic versus Torah? Very simple. Because if I'm going to look at that stain that it's from the Torah and she had a sensation, then she's going to become impure even with the most minute blood on a colored garment. But if I'm going to look at a stain from rabbinical viewpoint, then I'm going to tell you it has to specifically be the size of a nickel and it only has to be on a white garment. Otherwise, she's not Tameh. So, continuing. This is true that she is on a rabbinical level, even if she finds the stain right after being with her husband during relations. And the stain is on the sheet or on her skin. We're still going to tell you that she's impure from the rabbis. Again, it has to be the size of a nickel. This is what I was trying to bring out. We are not worried that maybe the blood actually came out during the relations themselves, and she felt it, which is the hargasha, but thought it was only the normal feelings of relations. We're not going to be concerned for this, Rabotai. Why is that important to know? Because if we're going to say that it came out during the relations itself, and she really had a sensation, then, Rabotai, even a size of a nickel on a colored garment is going to make her impure. Therefore, we're not going to go out and we're not going to say that. Same thing, Rabotai, with the bathroom. The same thing applies if she went to the bathroom, and right after that she finds a stain of blood on her skin or on her clothing. We're going to tell you she is considered impure because of the stain, which is called ketem, by rabbinic law. And we do not say that maybe the blood came out during the bathroom time and she felt it, meaning she felt the uterus opening, but thought it was only the normal bathroom sensation. We're not going to say all this to go ahead and make her impure. We're not going to say that. We're going to stick to the rabbinic view in order to keep her pure. That means if after using the restroom she comes out and she finds a nickel stain on her white garment or on her body, we're going to tell you she's tameh. If she finds a dime, we're going to tell you she's tahor. In short, Rabotai, anytime a woman finds a stain of blood, even right after being with her husband or after going to the bathroom, she is impure by rabbinic decree of ketem. Leave it like that. We do not assume that the blood came out earlier during the act itself and that she was mistaken about what she felt. So therefore you're going to tell me maybe she should be tameh from the Torah. That, Rabotai, we're not going to assume. So, and okay, we spoke about damach metashmish. Again, the reason why I wanted to speak about damach metashmish over here is because, as we'll see, Ezrat Hashem B'lined, there is such a concept that blood can come out during relations. And the husband, like we explained, the second, third, and fourth time has to be very careful that the wife does not see blood during relations. And like we explained, how does it happen? Not during the first time around. The second time around, she has to check herself before being with him. Then he has relations with her. Then she has to check herself after being with him, and he has to check himself also. The third time, we're going to apply the same process. She has to check herself before and after, but he has to check himself after. The fourth time, the same thing. She has to check herself before and after, and he has to check himself after. We need to make sure, we need to have a chazakah, we need to have an assumption that when she sees blood, it's not because of the husband. The husband, meaning the husband does not make her bleed. It's very, very important, Rabotai. Again, Rabotai, this is very rare. If it happens, it's very rare. The Gemara, the Shulchan Aruch bring down that if chas v'shalom lo lein, if a woman is bemet down there, she's sick, that's where we're going to have the problem of a guy being able to make her bleed during relations. Okay, so let me just summarize. Just let me ask you guys a halacha question. Let's see if you guys really understood it. You're going to get a case like this. Reuven and Sarah are having relations. After having relations, Sarah pays attention. Immediately after having relations, she looks down. She sees the blood came out after having relations. Okay, let me rephrase it. Reuven and Sarah were having relations. After they finished having relations, she sees blood on her body or on the bed sheet, which is white. What is the halakha going to be if it's a nickel size? And what is the halakha going to be if it's a dime size? Go ahead, try to answer it. If it's a nickel size, is she tameh or not? The answer is she's tameh. If it's a dime size, is she tameh or not? She's not tameh. She's pure. A follow-up question. Why can't we make her tameh even by nickel? Let's say that really what she felt was the opening of the uterus, but she thought it was her husband, so maybe she should be tameh on a Torah level, even if it's less than 2 centimeters, and it's in a colored garment, and make her impure. What's going to be the answer? We don't say that. We're not concerned for that. Don't make problems, Rabbi side. That's case number one. Case number two. A woman Reuven's wife, Sarah, went to the restroom. She comes out and she pays attention on her white underwear. She has blood. Or she walks out and her husband pays attention on her thighs. She has a stain of blood. What's going to be the halakha? Same thing. If it's the size of a nickel, what are we going to say? She is tameh. If it is the size of a dime, what are we going to say? She is pure. But are we going to say that maybe when it's even a size of a dime, make her impure on a Torah level, saying maybe really she felt a hargasha and it came out during her going to the bathroom, but she didn't feel it because she thought it was the sensation of urine or making number two. So therefore make her tameh with a nickel and even on a colored garment. The halakha is going to tell you, we don't say that, Rabotai. We don't say it. Bottom line is over here, when it comes to stains, it could even be after having relations, and it could even be after using the bowels. We're going to tell you, if it's the size of a nickel, tameh, less than the size of a nickel, she is tahor, and it has to be either on her flesh or either on a white garment. Otherwise, she is pure. Rabotai, have a great day. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen.